Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating botanical mystery pulled straight from a recent urban gardening journal. It is literally a perfect case study right at the intersection of biology, environment, and honestly, the sheer stubborn determination of plant parents. Let's get right into it.
We're pulling our clues today from a personal log published on July 11th, 2026. This entry meticulously documents a massively frustrating roadblock encountered on a backyard balcony. You know, it's a scenario that's incredibly common for us, yet the actual science behind it's rarely discussed with this level of clarity. So, what exactly is the central paradox plaguing so many dedicated gardeners here? Well, think about it. You do absolutely everything right, your plant looks incredibly healthy, the blooms are super vibrant, and yet it stubbornly refuses to give you the one thing you need to grow more of it. Why on earth does this happen? Why would a perfectly blooming flower refuse to give you seeds?
Our whole investigation today is based entirely on the first-hand observations of an urban gardener named Ang. By sharing this Dear Interweb post, Ang gives us a true boots-on-the-ground perspective. I mean, this isn't some sterile lab experiment we're talking about. This is the messy, highly unpredictable, real-world reality of a balcony microclimate.
Section 1. The Propagation Challenge. Let's establish exactly what subject we're dealing with. The focus of Eng's frustration is the beautiful, but honestly quite stubborn Abutilon Pictum. You might know it better by its common name, the red-vein-indian-mallow. Now, there is a stark contrast happening here between the plant's outward success and its absolute reproductive failure. As Eng observed, the plant is blooming regularly, producing numerous spent flowers. Naturally, you'd think that simply harvesting these spent flowers would lead to successful seed propagation, right? But despite the visual success of all those gorgeous blooms, the final result is 0 seeds extracted, a complete standstill.
Section 2. The pollination mystery. Facing this massive roadblock, Eng quickly slammed into a fundamental botanical rule. Unless these spent flowers are actually pollinated and produce fruit, seed extraction is entirely impossible. You can't just harvest a dead flower. The whole biological chain of events absolutely has to be completed. And that brings us to a very specific, crucial question. Why are these flowers not being pollinated? This single journal line is the absolute engine of our investigation, prompting us to play detective.
Section 3. 3 environmental suspects.
According to the observations in the source material, we can boil our list of ecological suspects down to exactly 3 potential environmental limitations. We're going to break them down one by one to see what invisible forces might be sabotaging this red-vein-mallow. Our very first suspect: isolation or missing pollinators. A backyard balcony might simply be way too separated from nature's essential biological partners. The microclimate on Ang's balcony may completely lack the compatible pollinators that this specific plant desperately requires. For the red-vein-indian-mallow, those missing partners are typically hummingbirds or very specific types of insects, and without them flying around, the mechanical transfer of pollen, it just never happens. Suspect number 2 is acclimation stress. Plants absolutely feel the physiological toll of transitioning to a new environment. In this case, the Abutilon Pictum is likely still acclimating to the highly specific microclimate of that backyard balcony. The stress of this transition could easily be causing the plant to drop its flowers prematurely. Essentially, the plant is struggling so incredibly hard just to adapt and survive that it completely abandons the energy-intensive process of reproduction before pollination can even finish. Our final suspect points inward, right at the plant's own genetics. It's highly possible that this particular cultivar is functionally sterile, meaning it possesses reduced fertility. You see, often, plants that are heavily cultivated for their beautiful looks, like those striking red veins, actually end up losing their reproductive capabilities somewhere along the breeding process. So, the crucial takeaway here is that we have 3 distinct culprits on our hands. This complete lack of seeds is either caused by environmental isolation leading to missing pollinators, physiological acclimation stress causing a premature drop of the flowers, or it's just a genetic dead end due to cultivar sterility. Section 4. The action plan. Now, rather than just throwing in the towel and accepting a seedless existence, Ang concludes the journal entry with a highly proactive 2-part strategy to bypass these limitations. Step 1 tackles the first suspect directly: hands pollination. By using a small, soft paintbrush, Ang basically plans to play the role of the missing hummingbirds and insects. Brilliant, right? Step 2 tackles the stress suspect by relocating the plant to a spot with higher sunlight exposure. This is a direct attempt to change the microclimate, giving the plant way more energy to adapt and sustain its blooms.
It's such a fantastic, methodical approach to urban gardening, and it really reminds us how deeply connected a plant is to its surroundings. So, as you look at your own houseplants maybe struggling to propagate, ask yourself, is your balcony a thriving ecosystem or just a sterile microclimate? Which of these invisible ecological suspects might be lurking in your own home, standing right between you and your next generation of plants?